I mean, it's fantastic.
Say that.
Nope. Can't let this movie be released. None of you ever saw a Fantastic Four movie on August 7th, 2015.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a very special average review. You're not crazy. Today we're going to be reviewing the Toybiz Marvel Legends Galactus Build-A-Figure. Considered by many, and it probably is, the first Build-A-Figure ever made. Since it's a Build-A-Figure, which means you had to buy multiple figures to build this guy, he doesn't actually have a box, so let's get straight to the sculpting. Starting off with his head and helmet, and it is beautifully crafted. You can tell by the big upper area and those weird antenna things that this is Galactus immediately. There's also plenty of raised lines and detailings so that you know this is a design created by Jack Kirby. The large size of the head also lets Toybiz get in a lot of details. I mean, look at how detailed his lips are. Sorry about turning up the brightness, but it's necessary to see the sculpted work in the eyes. Not only are the eyes sculpted and painted very well with a sort of metallic pink, but they've sculpted in the square pupils on Galactus's eyes. Moving down, he's got a very nice looking torso, a great metallic blue, and I'm also a fan of this sort of maroon or burgundy color they use for the purple. It's pretty nice. I also like this chest detailing that sort of looks like a G, but also just seems like an alien symbol. You can see that the metallic blue straps continue onto his back, along with these many sculpted lines. His arms, very similar to the torso, nice metallic blue, although it is a bit more faded, unfortunately. He's got some pretty cool looking gloves with a bunch of stripes on these more brownish areas, but his fingers still have that shade of burgundy. Moving down, and these three diamond-shaped, well, whatever those are very nice and have a much brighter shade of blue, and his skirt is very well sculpted and painted. One problem with mine, though, this middle part is moving off to one side. If I move it, it'll eventually just kind of move back. Oh, and also, sculpting and painting still continues onto the back. Now, his legs are mostly covered in the upper area by his, well, skirt, but I have an extra one that came with Bullseye that isn't attached to the figure. You can see it's still got that nice metallic blue, although the one on the actual figure has kind of faded over the years. Still, though, you can see a lot of the musculature in the legs, and also a bunch of black lines running throughout the blue parts of the legs. The boots are a very unique look. They've got these rings around them, and also this brown area that runs down to around here on the foot, and he's got sort of spiked soles, which is a pretty interesting look. To be honest, in terms of aesthetics, this is probably my favorite Galactus figure. Then again, I don't own any other ones, but just looking at him, I prefer this guy since he feels a lot more like the classic comic book Galactus. But hey, figures aren't just about how they look, it's about how they move. And this guy's got some pretty standard Marvel Legends articulation, but it's also on a figure that's massive. Starting off, his head is on a disc hinge. His head can pop off since he's a Build-A-Fig, but he can look up a fairly decent amount, but Galactus isn't the type of guy to look up at people, since he's huge. He looks down, and he does that amazing. And also his head spins around. His arms can spin around and hinge 90 degrees upwards. He's got bicep swivel, as you can see. Double jointed elbows with a pretty good bend. Forearm cut for some swivel. Hands that can get a really good amount of hinge. And one joint at his forefingers, which allows him to kind of make a fist and do that with his other hand. In terms of torso articulation, he's got a diaphragm joint, which lets him hunch forward, hunch backwards, spin around, and tilt side to side. Now, he's got ball-jointed hips, but they're very limited in their kick forward by his skirt, and same for the split. They do have thigh cut, though. Moving down, he's got double-jointed knees with a pretty good bend, boot cut rotation, feet that can hinge backwards, forwards, and pivot side to side, and join at the toe, which allows for some extra posability. Now, I've said this Galactus is huge, but why not show it with the comparisons? Starting out with the standard two Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and Spinneret from Hasbro. I was not lying when I said this Galactus is huge. In fact, let me show you the exact height of this guy. Around 16 inches to the tops of his antenna things on his helmet. Good God. And this is for a 6-inch figure line. So this guy, well, this Galactus fittingly will tower over every Marvel Legend figure. But let's bring out Marvel's first family, who were the first superheroes to oppose Galactus, the Fantastic Four. All of these are from the retro carded Fantastic Four line, but repainted a bit to be their classic Jack Kirby looks. I mean, you can see that you can fit this Galactus even now into your Marvel Legends collection, and he will fit and look fantastic. The only figure I have from the Galactus wave is Bullseye, and so here he is with Galactus. I mean, just look at the sheer difference in size here. Although, let's try getting some bigger guys in here. On the left, we have the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Thor, and on the right, we have the 20th Anniversary of Marvel Legends Hulk. Even then, Hulk is about half as big as Galactus, and this is a big Marvel Legends figure. For two larger scale Toybiz Marvel Legends figures, though, we have the Face-Off Hulk and the Legends Hulkbuster. Even though these guys are incredibly chunky and bulky, they still don't hold a candle to Galactus. I usually save this guy for the end, but you know what? Just to show how big he is right now, here is Goliath with the Marvel Legends Galactus Build-A-Figure. This Goliath is really big, twice the size of a regular Marvel Legend at 12 inches. And Galactus still kinda towers over him. There's one guy I have that Galactus is even in height with, though. The Toybiz Marvel Legends Apocalypse Build-A-Fig. I've had this guy for months now, and honestly, this feels like the perfect time to show him off. And hey, if you want to see me do a review on this guy too, then maybe leave a comment or a like, or I don't know, threaten to throw my girlfriend off a bridge while dressed in a crazy goblin costume. That usually works. I'm also gonna get some quick Marvel Legends villain comparisons out of the way, starting off with Ultron. This is specifically the one from the Ant-Man Quantumania wave. Why? Well, because in Marvel's iconic Secret War storyline from the 1980s, Ultron began the story by attacking his fellow villains. Upon attacking Galactus, though, Ultron met a grisly demise at Galactus' hands, until later being revived by Dr. Doom. Speaking of Secret Wars and Dr. Doom, though, here's two versions of Victor Von Doom. Throughout the story, the Doctor closely followed Galactus as he tried to absorb the power of the Beyonder. And we can see what happened after Doom stole the Beyonder's power from, well, the Beyonder and Galactus here on the right with the Secret Wars Dr. Doom. And of course, his classic look here on the left from the Cabal 3-pack. Now you may be wondering, where's Galactus's famous herald, the Silver Surfer? Well, the problem is I don't have a Marvel Legends version of the Surfer. But I do have one in the Marvel Universe 4-inch scale line. This one came in a 2-pack with Doctor Strange. In case you're wondering what he looks like standing next to figures from this line, well, here's the members of the Future Foundation Fantastic Four next to Galactus. And yeah, if you want this Galactus to tower even more over some Marvel figures, the Marvel Universe line is a pretty good choice. Oh, and also, if you want something a teeny tiny bit larger, here's two Toybiz 5-inch Marvel figures from the 90s. On the left we have Thanos, and on the right we have Spider-Man. Now, this Galactus has practically every factor to make him one of the most expensive Marvel Legends of all time. He's a super popular character. I mean, Galactus is one of the biggest villains in the Marvel Universe. He was really important for his time. He was the first Build-A-Figure in the Marvel Legends line, you know. He's also massive at 16 inches, and also, you know, he's a Build-A-Figure. Those require multiple figures that you need to buy and build, so that also factors into the price. I was expecting this guy to be like $200, but no, on eBay you can find him for around $120, $140. And don't get me wrong, that's expensive. That is a load of money. That is like 6 times the price of a regular figure. But hey, it's still less than I expected, and also, I paid even less for this one at $90. Still, load of money. But it's a lot less than you'd expect for a figure like this. Speaking of a figure like this, a big villain that requires itself to be a big figure, this Galactus does a perfect job. He's big and imposing, but also fairly posable. I mean, sure, his legs are a bit limited, and there could be a little more torso articulation, but Galactus' entire thing is being, you know, big and eating planets. He's not like a dynamic gymnast like Daredevil or Spider-Man. And even still, I could see you getting a lot of interesting poses with this guy, especially due to his size. And overall, I'm gonna give this Galactus an, in my opinion, very deserved 10 out of 10. In all honesty, this, or really any Marvel Legends Galactus, that Toybiz Marvel Legends Hulkbuster and the Face Off Hulk 2-pack have always been sort of my white whales of Marvel Legends figures, and having all 4, well, mainly 3, because the leader is just sort of a nice bonus, it almost doesn't feel real. And honestly, if these were the last figures I ever got, I think I'd be pretty happy. And honestly, I do love collecting, and I have a lot of fun, you know, getting the figures, posing them, and making these videos. And I hope you enjoy hearing me talk about these figures half as much as I do making them. Remember to have a great day, because you deserve it. Bye-bye.